Jaguars, still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Don't suffocate in your own hate. Smile, people. 84 degrees, Duval. No place I'd rather be than right here. Jacksonville. Kidding me? Taco Tuesday, 2 for Tuesday, divorce-filled Tuesday, the women on the prowl. Best of luck to you, especially if you're in search of husband number 4. I think it's the lucky number. Number 4, Bobby Orr from Parry Sound, Ontario. My idol growing up. Who's yours? Is it going to be Nate Borkircher? Is it going to be Emmanuel Pregnon? We don't know. We'll see. The grades continue to come in. The analysis is staggering. It is. It's just amazing to me. I've never graded a draft class until today. Apparently the youngsters, that's what they want. That's what they want. That's what they'll get. I came out with my draft grade individually, all 10 players, because that's what the people want. I haven't even graded last year's draft class. I don't think you can. I think at this point you can grade the 2024 draft. But that's what people do. And I'm a team guy, so that is what I am going to do. But the situation and the way that this is being perceived is really bizarre, in my opinion. No one knows. No one has a clue. I mean, we went through a couple of months' worth of pre-draft conversations, guests, analysis, where to go, what to do. All right, the positions I don't love. A tight end and a safety with their first and fourth overall pick. I needed another edge. I needed another off-the-ball linebacker to go along with the DT and obviously the offensive lineman, but I'm not James Gladstone. What is shocking to me is how many people are saying, we finally got a great coach in Liam Cohen. But what's going on with our GM, James Gladstone? And what an absolutely horrible draft. I don't agree with that. Do I have some concerns about the draft? Yes. Do I question what he did, especially with the tight end at number 56? Yes. But to, finish the book, close the book, for you youngsters out there who don't know what a book is because you get all your information on TikTok or Twitter or X or MySpace or whatever it may be, it really is rewarding when you finish the book. People have told me time and again, the blue-collar workers. Can we get it up right now, by the way? Can we get a round of applause there, RJ, for the blue-collar workers of Jacksonville? We support you. We love you. How about the truckers who take us from point A to point B, right? I mean, unions. Tell you, if a raindrop hits this quarter, we're out of here. We're taking off for the remainder of the day. But then again, we're in the desert of Duval. But I'm a big blue collar guy, and I spent summers working construction. It was pretty cool to work in a community and watch the buildings go up, watch the homes go up, and I guess for those in that industry to actually witness building something from scratch and then see it get completed must be an amazing feeling. It's the way I feel when I read a book and I finish the book and I stack it in my library of about 1,500 hardcover books, okay? People have closed the book on this draft class. They haven't even been on the practice field yet at the Miller Electric. Settle down. Settle down. Relax. What if this ends up being pretty good? Again, it's all about the starting point. You were 13-4. You blew it against Buffalo, and I think a lot of that is coaching. I think a lot of that is taking the ball out of the hands of Bayshell Tootin. That's my problem. This is where they went for it on fourth down. That's Liam Cohen. Liam Cohen's going to go for it on fourth down. He ran a counter in preseason game number 1 against Pittsburgh with their backups with Diami Brown. Why? That's what he does. And that's what he's going to continue to do, whether it's analytically the right move or it's just a gut feeling to go for it. I don't have a problem with that. I do have a problem with them taking the ball away from Bayshell Tootin. So what have they done? They put a lot of trust in this rushing attack. They went out with 2 of their top 3 picks. They got a guard of the future, and they got a mean pass blocking, run blocking, number 2 tight end. Is it going to work? Only time will tell. With that said, how about the compiling of these marks? This is the first time I've ever seen this. And, I really am a student of everything that happens that is draft related. But I saw it today. And honestly, again, I was more than shocked. Okay. I mean, I just could not believe that out of 32 teams, and this individual used 24 different grades that came in from 24 different entities covering the NFL. The Jaguars were dead last. Think of it as a grade point average. They came in with a 1.34, 32nd in the NFL. I mean, that's Blutowski territory. That's flounder territory. That's D-Day territory. A 1.34, clearly number 32 in the NFL. Mel Kiper says a C. You can look at really anyone who's evaluating this class, and for the most part, they're not happy with it. They're not excited about what has gone on. And I'm just telling you, relax. It's not going to change tonight. It's not going to change tomorrow. It's not going to change this weekend. I mean, after all of the negativity that you have dealt with as a Jaguars fan, 31 years heading into year 32, I would think that you would be able to trust this process just a little bit. I was far more alarmed a year ago at this time than I am now. Last year at this time, I didn't know what to make of it with all the first-timers and how this organization was built, okay? I mean, how bizarre was that to go Liam Cohen first, then officially Tony Baselli, and then a month later with James Gladstone? You don't build a football team like that. No one builds a football team like that. This organization did. They said it was going to be a collaborative effort. It worked. They went 13-4. Look at the culture. Look at the mood. Look at the way it is over there at the Miller Electric Center. It's amazing. It's night and day from 1 year ago. So just relax, have a good time, and we'll see what happens. This team did not need to add starter after starter after starter. They only lost 4 of their top 24, and they're already replaced in-house. What you're looking at now is whether or not these guys can knock off incumbents, particularly on the offensive line. And it's going to be a lot of fun to watch once camp gets underway, less than 30 days now on May 26th. And, of course, all throughout that process, which includes involuntary minicamp, mandatory minicamp, and then training camp, which we do expect is less than 90 days away. I mean, it's right here in front of us. Are you kidding me? 3rd week of July is when, in fact, that is expected. Hey, let's play the one cut from James Gladstone evaluating the entire draft. I know it's viral. I know some of you out there have heard it. Others, perhaps you have not. This was when he was asked during the conclusion of day 3 of the NFL draft. Remember, they had 11 draft picks. They made a move, so they ended up selecting 10 players. He was asked, the Jaguars general manager, what he got out of the draft this year compared to what he wanted to get out of the draft.
Oh, that's a great question. So I can say, as a part of maybe the day before kickoff on Thursday, we ended up putting players in slots across all 11 picks, and can in fact say that we were able to nail 10 of those 11, and we only made 10 selections. So that was a pretty fun outcome, knowing that we were able to map it as cleanly as we were. I don't think that had anything to do with skill, but maybe a little more luck than that. But that was a pretty exciting piece.
Your GM's happy with this draft. And to me, this is different from when, no matter who it was, when we used to have signing day in college football. Remember how big that used to be, the first Wednesday in February? It's kind of like the conversation I just had with Frank and Hayes. I mean, everything changes. Just change it up, change it up, change it up. Now you have early signing day and this and that and this and that. It's not nearly as appealing to me as it once was. I mean, that early Wednesday in February was a magical day for college football fans. I have no idea about what's going on now. It's probably because my school sucks. I was in a charity golf tournament the other day, and I saw Alex Lamb and Craig Dewhurst and some Knowles, and there was a bunch of frat brothers around, and I met a few of them before, and I had to hightail out of there after playing with Ed Witt of Miller Electric and some others. Really good event for autism. And I saw a pack of Knowles, probably 15 of them. And they're drinking beers and they're having a good time. And I just looked at them and I said, Knowles, have a good one. Maybe we can win an effing road game this year. And you should have seen the look on their faces, all 15 of them. It was just incredible just to see how bad things really are right now. Okay, consider that. Consider what Florida went through. Better than Florida State, yes, but another coaching change. Okay, they change coaches the way the Kardashians change boyfriends. Look at your Jaguars. The exact opposite. Totally 180 from Florida State. Not quite 180 from Florida. There's a little bit of a glimmer there with the Gators, who at least are still recruiting some good football players, who at least sent, 7 players, I believe, into the NFL draft this year ago. So think of where the majority of you people are Saturday compared to what you have here on Sunday. Listen, I'm not paid to say nice things about the Jags. Okay? I told you, last year at this time, I had major reservations about the way that they built it. But I don't understand locally, and I don't understand nationally, why this organization is getting destroyed after this draft class. I just don't get it. I'm not trying to change your opinion. I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just saying, my goodness, the overreaction right now is really amazing to me. That's the way that I feel, okay? And that's the way I'm going to continue to feel here as we, make our way through OTAs, which began on April 20th. I'm waiting for the Jaguars to officially announce, hopefully, a rookie minicamp, which should be nice to get out there and watch these guys work. Hopefully it's when I get back from the Dominican Republic, which I will leave on Thursday, return a week from Thursday. So anyway, I usually fit these vacations in perfectly in between anything that actually takes place with the Jaguars on the practice field over at the Miller Electric Center. So hope that's the case, but I don't know. We'll see officially. I know I'm in and around my other vacations in June and July, mini camps as well as before the start of training camp. So may not be good for you. It's good for me. I love being out there. I do. I mean, to me, it's my favorite time of the year. I like watching them practice more than I actually like it when it's in season. And the reason there is, as I've said many, 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 many times before, is that everything's measured by wins and losses. During the offseason, you can look ahead a little bit. You can, I don't want to use the word fantasize. That would kind of come off as awkward, right? When I think of fantasize or fantasizing, it usually doesn't have anything to do with the OTAs during the off season with the Jaguars. I think it's just a tiny bit more risque than that, but you can dream. You can look ahead. You can throw out the what if. That's why I've always loved the offseason more than the actual in-season. I did enjoy it last year, though, because it was good to see all you people smile. You know how you want to get the rain back here to Duval? Let's get to a Monday during Jaguars football season. It rains every single Monday, and it has, I think, for the last 31 years on a Monday here once football does officially get underway. All right, Ryan O'Halloran's coming up in 20 minutes. Be very interested to hear how he evaluates this draft. I already know because I've read his material and I've heard him, but we'll dive into that with O'Halloran. That should be a whole heck of a lot of fun. I tell you what else is really incredibly fun. That's having outstanding eyesight, right? I mean, I'm going to the Dominican Republic to play some golf, to get some sun, to have some fun, to drink a lot of rum, and it's just going to be nuts. Imagine not being able to see all the beautiful sights in the Dominican Republic because you have bad eyes, because your prescription is outdated, because you just keep pushing it aside. Why would you do that? If it's anything else, head to toe, something's out, something's not working, you immediately go to the doctor. Why do you push off your eyesight? It's a mistake. Make an appointment today. Shmunez Vision, 37 years worth of experience when it comes to surgery, whether it's something that you want, like laser eye surgery, or maybe it's something that is unfortunately needed. You want to go to the best. Dr. Neil Shmunez, Dr. Catherine Shmunez, Dr. John Hunt, they've been doing that for more than 37 years. Check them out online, Shmunez Vision. You can also go to YouTube, or why don't we check that? Let's go to Instagram, and you can get all of the testimonials at Shmunez Vision.
It's Cliff Averill one more time.
I'm Cliff Averill of the Seattle Seahawks and Clay High School on Jacksonville Sports Radio, 1010XL.
Cliff Averill has been a machine tonight.
Make Capital Glass and Shower Doors your premier choice for top-quality glass solutions. With over 40 years of expertise, their team specializes in commercial and residential projects. From elegant shower doors to modern frameless enclosures, they've got you covered. But that's not all. They also offer glass railing systems, glass wine cabinets, and much more. For unmatched quality and service, choose Capital Glass and Shower Doors. Your vision, their expertise. Visit online at capcoglass.com.
I'm Frank Frangie, and I can tell you as Walk-Off Charities has grown, we now manage a large athletic facility with numerous fields, including the Bregan Baseball Complex. To get around, we needed a good, reliable golf cart. I went straight to Dynamic Drives and Design in Jack's Peak. I met with Travis, told him exactly what our needs were. Would you believe before you knew it, the perfect cart was delivered to us at an incredible price? If you need a golf cart, Travis and his team are the go-to. Learn more about them at dynamicdrivesdesign.com.
He speaks softly and carries a suitcase full of stories.
The quarterback whisperer.
Get an inside look at football's greatest position with Denny Thompson. Friday mornings on The Drill. Tuned up by George Moore Chevrolet on 1010XL.
Out here, we hear your speed before we see you. Wind that rocks us.
Cars drifting toward us.
This isn't just a road, it's our workplace. Slow down.
Keep your distance.
Stay focused. Your choices matter.
Let's get everyone home safely.
Learn more about the Florida Department of Transportation's Target Zero initiative at WorkZoneSafetyFL.com.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%. Most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, Prosser here, but here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit card, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project, One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. Here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long, drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at a near 3-year low. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The long goodbye begins. A very special evening with Journey. Final Frontier Tour, Saturday, May 16th, ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Journey. Tickets are on sale now at journeymusic.com. Your chance to say goodbye to the songs that changed our lives. Journey. Final Frontier Tour.
Alert! Alert! Termite swarms are active right now in Jacksonville, and once they get inside, damage can happen fast. Termites don't knock, they silently attack the structure of your home, leaving behind costly repairs and long-term headaches. Protect what you've worked hard for with the proven protection homeowners trust. Terminix, with advanced termite treatment and prevention solutions. Visit Terminix.com and schedule your free termite inspection today.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
That's good to have you with us, a Tuesday edition. It is brought to you by the Alexander Law Practice. Rick Alexander was just in there. He cut a spot, one take, exactly 30 seconds. You know how insane that is? You know how rare that is? That doesn't happen with hosts. And he just came in here and nailed it. And he's doing incredible things for you. 30 years. He's put it upon himself to help the good people. We've had some really bad accidents. I noticed it Sunday night on the way to the airport, 9B, car flipped, motorcycle. Certainly there was a big one yesterday on 210. I mean, on my way over here on Phillips, I don't know if this guy was looking for ladies of the night. They don't come out until after dark, okay? This guy's in one of these tiny little, what are those little tiny cars called? RJ, where, you know, it's got no trunk, it's got nothing. It's just basically you stick a body in it. You know what I'm talking about? Those tiny little cars.
Yeah, the very small ones, yeah. I do not know what necessarily they call those.
Well, I got a big-ass GMC Sierra, and this guy pulls right in front of me. And I had to, it's a good thing I went to John's Auto and just got my brakes fixed, because I had to slam the brakes. If not, talk about putting a guy into the wall. I was going to send this guy, who knows where with all the construction, but just a really stupid driver pulling out in front of me. And you see it no matter where you go. People are on their cell phones. It's so awful. And what happens most of the time, because of careless driving, you're the victim. You're the one who has the totaled car. You're the one who's physically hurt. You don't have anywhere to go. You think you're up against it. You're wrong. Call Rick Alexander, the Alexander Law Practice, or go to alexanderlawpractice.com. Explain everything to Rick. He's going to work directly with you. Got more than 30 years worth of experience. And here's the deal. Costs you nothing. No retainer fee, no consultation fee, no fee for the phone call, no fee for anything. You're not coming out of pocket. If this has happened to you or someone that you know, tell them all about the Alexander Law Practice. Get yourself what you deserve, someone who is going to represent you during a very difficult time. You seen the headlines today? NCAA tournament set to expand to both 76 teams and men's and women's. NBA finalizing lottery reform proposal. More talks about what's going on in Major League Baseball with the, checking of the strikes, whether it's a strike or a ball. Red cards for mouth covering approved before the World Cup, apparently because there's been a lot of racial things that have been said while playing golf, that you're not allowed to cover your mouth when a player is talking to a player because of that exact reason.
Well, that was, I think, the whole reason why players wanted to cover their mouths, because you had lip readers on social media trying to read what, these guys would say. So they would put their hand over their mouth or their jersey over their mouth and talk in between each other. So you wouldn't have an idea as to what they're saying. You would have to be a guy who has X-ray vision in order to be able to read their lips. So to hear something like that is absolutely wild.
I mean, I just want to go there and I want to find something positive, like the Red Sox firing Alex Cora, which really wasn't his fault. It's not a great roster. But here we are, two major programs, two major cities. They didn't even get out of the month of April. In Boston and Philadelphia, respectively. I mean, that's pretty amazing. Problem with the Red Sox, they became small market. That really happened when they just sent away Mookie Betts for nothing. Then they sent away Chris Sale for nothing. They sent away John Lester for nothing. They sent away Xander Bogaerts for nothing. They send away Kyle Schwarber for nothing. Remember, they had him for half the year. They send away Rafael Devers for nothing. By the way, he's fat and lazy. He grounded out the second base the other day, and I watched this with Manny Machado last night as well, going 3 for 3. Hit a ground ball to third. Unbelievable play. What's up with jogging down the first baseline now? I mean, Manny Machado, when it's all said and done, I think he's going to be the 8th player in the history of the game to have more than 3,000 hits and 500 home runs. Why not set a good example for the kids? Run hard down the first baseline. You make it $30 million a year. Not too hard to do, right? Oh, is that old school? Is that get off my lawn? Just shut up, Baloo. That's not the way today's players play. 8-1, hit a home run, make it 8-2, stop and stare. Take 35 seconds to round the bases. I got it. My bad. I do apologize. All right, Ryan O'Halloran's coming up in less than 10 minutes. Again, this is the first time that I've ever been asked to, or I've ever graded an NFL draft. I just never have done it, but we're doing something big social media-wise. So I was asked earlier today, and I responded, let me find it for you. And apparently there's a lot of really aggravated people out there. So by all means, you can take shots at me. The best way to get to me is 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. You can also get us on YouTube tonight, even watch the show. Just go to 1010XL into the night. All right, here we go. Nate Borkircher gave him a C. I never would have picked him there. Okay, but I think when it's all said and done here, he's going to do a little something. So you want to give him a D? Good. You want to give him an F? Fine. I gave him a C. Albert Regis gave him a C. I looked at probably 12, 15 or so different defensive tackles with several draft analysts. The name Albert Regis never came up. Can Albert Regis give you 250 snaps as the backup to Devon Hamilton? Austin Johnson is gone. Can he eat up some snaps for you and come in fresh and help out to the already number 1 ranked rushing defense in the NFL? Number 3, Emmanuel Pregnon, A. Number 4, Jalen Husky, a D. I didn't see the safety. I didn't see it. And I know he's got some good ball skills with 11 picks. Apparently, he's not really that imposing against the run. Thought it was a reach. Let's see here now. Number 119, Wesley Williams out of Duke. Gave him a C. Don't know much about him. 3 sacks last year. Apparently, he can move all over the place. I would have identified an edge much earlier in the draft. Gave him a C. 164, Tanner Kazeel. I gave him an A. I think this guy has a chance to be a star. 6'6", 6'6.5", 6'7". Caught 94 balls, 2 years ago? I think it was at Ball State. Caught a whole bunch last year. I think he really has an opportunity there. That could end up being really one of their great picks down the road. Josh Cameron, I gave a C. The wide receiver. C.J. Williams, I gave him a C. I don't know. I don't know these guys. I guess apparently they tell me Stanford's now in the ACC. I guess. I don't know anything about him. Zach Dufresne. I'm not going to lie, people. I'm not going to lie and tell you I know all about these guys. I don't know them. Okay? Zach Dufresne. Zach Durfee. I gave him a C. I don't know what else to do here. And Parker Hughes. Gave him a C. I almost bumped him up a little bit. They didn't want pluses or minuses. They wanted straight grades. So there you go. I had 2 A's, 1 B, all C's, and a D. That was my grade to this year's 10 players selected by the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, you want to respond to that? You can. Coming up next, we'll also bring in the columnist himself, Ryan O'Halloran, joins us on Into the Night.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Rotator cuff injuries are common among athletes and those who have physically demanding careers. Don't let this injury keep you away from the sport you love. Dr. George Barry here, and the first thing you need to do with a serious shoulder injury is to diagnose where the damage is and how significant it is. Rotator cuff tears are either acute tears sustained during an injury or accident, or degenerative tears. If you're interested in learning more about rotator cuff repair and how our expert team of orthopedic surgeons can help you, call Barry Orthopedics today or visit barryorthopedics.com.
Got a dent or a scratch that needs fixing? San Jose Collision in Mandarin offers expert auto body repair and works with all insurance. Family owned and locally trusted. San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Hicken here. Experience crystal clear vision with the Eye Associates, formerly Bow 9 Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet Betchkel, MD, Jacksonville's leader in advanced eye care. From routine eye exams to specialized vision care, their experienced team dedicated to improving and preserving your vision. The same care you've come to trust, now with a new name. To schedule your appointment today, call the Eye Associates, formerly Bowden Eye Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet A. Betchkel, MD, at 296-0098. Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes with an opportunity again this year, just in case you haven't taken advantage of it in the past. Take the opportunity to drop 40 pounds by the 4th with a Waco 180. It sounds a little different when you put a real goal to it, doesn't it? To make it easier, a Waco 180 has lost Reclaim by a Waco 180. Reclaim is a simple 10-week plan designed to help you reach your weight and health goals, a beginning and an end and a real finish line. It just makes more sense. I dropped my 40 within 10 weeks, and like I always tell you, it was easy. Reclaim by a Waco 180 arrives at the perfect time for you to reach your 40 by the 4th and then keep it off with free support for life. Any medication, diet, or workout plan will say you'll see the results. But how many will say in 10 weeks you'll be a new version of yourself, thanking the old you for making that call to a Waco 180? 40 by the 4th isn't just a slogan. It's an opportunity to succeed with Reclaim by a Waco 180. Only at awaco180weightloss.com.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call Zero Res. Hicken here. This is the perfect time to clean those air ducts as you deal with allergy season, furnace and AC efficiency, post-winter, and more. Your air ducts are like the lungs of your home. If they're dirty, your indoor air suffers. Just check out the more than 8,000 Google reviews with a 4.9 rating. This month, take 20% off your whole home air duct cleaning. Pay less for more fresh. Call 287-5727 or go online at ZeroResJacksonville.com and ask for the 1010XL special.
Hey, this is Lauren Brooks. You know, my whole family was impressed with the closets we got from Closets by Design. And I'm confident that any mom would love her own calm, organized space from Closets by Design. They design solutions for every lifestyle and budget. Call them this week to schedule your free in-home consultation and get 40% off, plus another 15% off and free installation. Don't wait for mom to do it. Call now, 1-800-293-3744 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Tired of changing out bad sod year after year? Get it done right with Roundtree Sod. Big or small, they have it, and always supplied farm fresh. For a lush, legendary green lawn, call 7414-SOD for a free estimate. 7414-SOD.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
6:36 Tuesday night. You know what that means. Time for Ryan O'Halloran. He is the columnist of the Florida Times Union. My goodness, Ryan, on the brink, the Boston Bruins tonight in Buffalo. And how about the return of Draisaitl? But Edmonton could be without Connor McDavid tonight. Anaheim could wrap up that series.
Yeah, let's start with the important stuff, Rick. Good join again. I foresee a gentleman's sweep tonight in Buffalo. The only thing that would give the Bruins a puncher's chance is a lot of those Sabres have never been in this closeout game. And as you know, that's a totally different beast to close out a series. As for Edmonton, I mean, they weren't able to make a stop the entire season, and now they still can't make a stop. And if you're without McDavid, you sort of rally, see if you can force a game 6, which I think they'll do.
Yeah, we've had a lot of playoffs, and I love that, or sudden death playoff in overtime. But, boy, I was hoping for 6 and 7 game series. We could have 2 close, and we already have 1 with a sweep, and it's been kind of fascinating. All right, let's get to what the people want most, and that is the Jaguars draft. Overall, your feeling on what they did with these 10 new selections?
Well, they like to say throughout the offseason that they don't have to force anything. They feel like they can experiment a little bit with their draft picks because they have so many guys coming back. Well, it showed. These were guys, granted, I didn't dig into the draft as much as my beat writing days, but, when you're getting into the third round and they're guys that you're really having to search, that doesn't mean they're not reaching, just means they're just not familiar. And that impacted the opinion of the fan base. And, you're seeing all the grades out here now. To me, that doesn't really matter. When you have one of the first 80 picks, you're not going to get an A. You're not going to get a B. But after that, I think Bokacher is going to be a decent player, but I really like Koziel, the second tight end they drafted. I think he's going to be able to help them this year as well.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, that's a massive body. I never grade drafts. We were asked by social media to do that, and I gave 2 A's, and one was to the second tight end. The other was to perhaps their best overall selection. That, of course, was getting Pregnon as the guard in the third round.
Yeah, I'll start with Pregnon. I mean, he started a ton of games, and he's probably the only guy on their list that they probably said, okay, we didn't think he was going to be there, so we took him and maybe pushed another need down to day 3. They're not going to have to start him by necessity, but you look at the guard spots. Ezra Cleveland at left guard last year of his contract, and then Patrick McCarty at right guard can create a lot of cap space after this coming season. Plus, he had some back issues last year. So I think besides Bokacher, Pregnon would probably be the guy who could play a big role right away. even though a guy like Albert Regis, the first third-round pick, will be in a rotation of defensive tackle.
And, I think it's safe to say, I want your opinion on it, and I know we have the 2026 season ahead of us, but in 2027, I kind of see Monheim anchoring that line with Milam and Pregnon next to him as guards.
Yeah, I think Monheim would be the leader there if they move on from Hainsey. And I think that the thing that the Jaguars would have to be careful of is going too much too new. And you can create cap space with Hainsey. You can let Cleveland go. You can let McCurry go. But are you putting Trevor Lawrence at harm's way by starting three guys who may have never started, period, much less started games together? So I would say, hey, maybe do it more piecemeal, but they are drafting linemen with an eye to the future.
You just mentioned Albert Regis, our conversation here with Ryan O'Halloran, columnist from the Florida Times-Union. I probably, with you and a ton of draft analysts, mentioned somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 12 to 15 possible defensive tackle selections. I never got to Albert Regis. What's your opinion? I've learned about him since, but what is your opinion on this pick, number 81 overall?
Yeah, 6'1", 295, that comes up maybe as a bowling ballish and probably a better run defender, be able to use his leverage that way. I was looking, I probably misplayed it. I was looking at defensive tackles in this draft who provide a little bit of a pass rush, which is a necessity for this team right now. Well, he had 3.5 sacks. We don't know his pressure numbers, but he had 11 pass breakups, so he gets his hands up. But I think it was a good weekend for Eric Armstead. I thought if they really spent one of their first couple picks and even moved up for a defensive tackle, that would be a sign that Armstead would be a post-June 1 cut. Now I'm not so sure. They've been able to carry his cap hit the entire season, so they should be able to, or the entire offseason, so they should be able to continue moving forward. But to sound really X and O-ish, I'll dig in the Regis tape. Just okay, where did he make his impact? Because he did have 49 tackles last year for A&M in 13 games, and that's pretty good production for an interior line.
Yeah. Also a very good weekend for Ventrell Miller in the final year of his contract. They get Parker Hughes late, who played middle linebacker at Middle Tennessee State. There's talk that maybe he can move over to the weak side. But what did you make of the confidence they had there?
It was telling for sure, and a little surprising to me because Miller had a chance to wrest that job away from Devin Lloyd last year and wasn't able to do it. And Ventrell's injury history in college and in pros is well documented. It was a good weekend for Branson Combs, the second-year player who finished the season on the roster. And so, they're going to get a chance to battle it out. Both of them bring great special teams value to the Jaguars. So I think both of them make the team. But, if you had to rank your in-house winners, I mentioned Armstead. You mentioned Miller. I agree with that. We'll add Combs and also the three running backs. Them not taking a running back was a good news for the Rodriguez, Tootin, Allen camp.
Yeah, there's no question about that. All the talk about them trading up. You and I both thought that was not going to be the case. So Nate Borkircher goes number 56th overall in the second round. That is a massive surprise. But also, Ryan, I was just as surprised with their final pick on Friday night. I figured they have to go off the ball linebacker here. They did not. They took a guy that they think can help out at safety, and Jalen Husky.
Yeah, Dane Brugler had him as a 6th-round pick. He did not run great at his pro day 4.55, but what we've learned about this administration is they like positional flexibility, and this is a guy, Husky, who played corner at Bowling Green, played corner to start his Maryland career in 24, then switched to safety. What jumps out about Husky, and I'm sure it jumped out to the Jaguars, is 11 interceptions in 4 years. That is a pretty big total in college football with the way they play coverages. So that was obviously intriguing. I don't think Jalen expected to get the call Friday night because he was at Topgolf. And so he wasn't watching on TV, but if he can bring some versatility and maybe it gives them some options to play dime more than they did last year, then he'll find a role.
We don't have time to go through all of these players, so I'll just ask you whether it was the two edges, the two wide receivers. Did anything perhaps surprise you late in the draft for the Jags?
Yeah, I think taking a second receiver. They took Cameron first, and he had really good production, 121 catches over his last 2 years for Baylor, and he brings punt return value. That's probably the biggest thing for the Jaguars team this year. It does need to be noted he has a left ankle and may not be out there for rookie camp. As for C.J. Williams, he had seasons of 4, 15, 16, and 59 catches. He had 8 total touchdowns. So not sure what his role would be, obviously practice squad, but it was interesting to see them double up on tight end, which they'd never done in franchise history, and then double up on receiver, which, people will say I'm full of it, but it's even more, I think it lends even more evidence that Travis Hunter will be a full-time corner if Josh Cameron is able to make this team as a fourth receiver.
Let's wrap it up with this. Last year, we talked a lot about the changing of the culture, loving the game of football, improving the ecosystem. And then once we got into the year, I think the one trend that stuck out of the players that we got to see play was a lot of team speed. And, we haven't seen them on the practice field yet, but can you gauge anything at all from this draft class overall that James Gladstone went out and selected?
Well, it's not speed, and I'll just go with experience. This group combined to play 410 games in college. You had 7 guys out of 10 who are 5th or 6th year players. So I think the expectation is they're going to be able to come in and they're going to be able to learn and get better, even if they're not playing a lot, if at all, right away. And that speaks to their want to, that speaks to their character, a lot of former walk-ons. And so to me, that's the big takeaway is they didn't want any projects per se, but when I asked James Gladstone late Saturday night about how, did you have a luxury of taking guys you can really, smooth out the rough edges? He said, he goes, there was a developmental component to this. And they know that most of these guys aren't going to be called upon, and they're looking ahead to 2027.
Yeah, I tell you what. Devin Lloyd, I think, was 24 when he got here, but both Borkercher and Pregnon are going to be 25 in September and October, respectively.
Yeah, and so you're looking at now they're age 30, their second contract. That's not ideal for the NFL, but that's probably why they weren't first-round picks or even close to it. So, yeah, it's interesting strategy. I think in this era, it's probably going to become more common with NIL money. Guys are going to be staying. This whole draft on Saturday was pretty much a crapshoot because, look at the Jags. They weren't able to trade any of their picks save for one and end up with 10 guys. So, it's I don't know if it's the new normal just yet, but it's certainly getting there.
Yeah, I actually like it. Because these are men and they're in the ditch, and I think that's fine there. Skill position guys, maybe you would want them, like Travis Hunter of a year ago. But anyway, it made a lot of sense to me. Hey, Ryan, I'll miss you next week. I'll be in the actually, yes, I will be gone in the Dominican Republic, but I'll fire you off a text anyway.
All right, Rick. We'll appreciate it. Have a good trip.
There he goes, Ryan O'Halloran. Does that make any sense about, a 24-year-old kid who's going to be 25? It's September 4th for Borkercher, and then I think it's October 4th for Pregnon. They're going to be 25 years of age. And I know today's kids are so advanced. They leave high school early and they go to college and whatever, but I love the fact that they're going to be 25 years of age if you're talking about a guard and a blocking tight end. Those are grown-ass men as opposed to youngsters. I don't know if you feel differently about that. If it was a running back or a wide receiver or, Devin Lloyd, it didn't really work out for him, even though he had the age and he had years on others. Didn't work out until his final year. But I think it does mean a little something, at least as far as I am concerned, at guard and at tight end, especially in the 12 personnel, which we know they're going to use an awful lot of, and they're going to run the football. Okay, good stuff. Thank you to Ryan O'Halloran. Opportunity for you to respond. I'm already getting a lot that are coming in here. People upset with my grades because I didn't know a guy. I gave him a C or a D. It's getting filthy. People are on me, and that's a good thing. 641-1010. That is the best way to get to me. Text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. You can also watch the show and comment. Let's go to YouTube, 1010XL Into the Night.
High school, college, and pro.
As good as it gets.
Your home for the most play-by-play is 1010XL.
Make Capital Glass and Shower Doors your premier choice for top-quality glass solutions. With over 40 years of expertise, their team specializes in commercial and residential projects. From elegant shower doors to modern frameless enclosures, they've got you covered. But that's not all. They also offer glass railing systems, glass wine cabinets, and much more. For unmatched quality and service, choose Capital Glass and Shower Doors. Your vision, their expertise. Visit online at capcoglass.com.
Attention business owners and sales professionals. Still hearing, I need to think about it? Pat McManaman from Sandler Sales. We can help. There's a 2-day sales boot camp in Jacksonville, May 13th and 14th. We'll show you how to handle objections and close more deals without being pushy. Call us at 904-646-1900 for more details. 646-1900. Let's get your business and top-line revenue growing.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists congratulate the 1010XL Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Georgia Wickers, senior track and field athlete at Atlantic Coast High. Georgia holds the pole vault school record for girls and is the Director of Communications for the National Honor Society.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods, a Jacksonville family business for nearly 70 years. Heck, I've been talking about them for over a decade. The Thompson family secret: Dandy's never frozen, always fresh baked bread with quality meats and cheeses, no dry crumbly subs here, only soft and tasty deliciousness. When I see that logo with the little dude with the cane on the label, it tells me I'm getting a trusted brand, a quality sandwich. So do what I do and stop in at a Daly's and make yours a dandy today.
Jacksonville, your refund just hit. Don't let it vanish on bills. Superior Fence and Rail doubles it. Match up to $250 on 100 feet or more. Picture this. 1 day install transforms your yard into a private oasis with a quality that turns heads. From check to fenced paradise, faster than you think. Call today or visit SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
For the ultimate and unique gift ideas, visit CuneFlowers.com. JJ LaSelva here, and no matter what the reason, Cune Flowers has it all. Sending flowers was never so easy. Online, on the phone, or in the showroom, Cune Flowers hits a grand slam home run every time.
If you're heading to the Og or you're already part of the nation's oldest, don't forget to drop into Sunset Grill. For over 30 years, serving up great chowder, seafood, wings, and cold beer. Sunset Grill, somewhere on A1A, St. Augustine Beach.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Feel the power. Hear the legend. One Night of Queen, performed by Gary Mullen and the Works. The look, the sound, the electrifying showmanship of one of rock's greatest bands. One Night of Queen, April 29th at Florida Theater. Get your tickets now at floridatheater.com.
Not everyone is built for a cubicle. At Local 234, apprentices get paid to learn hands-on skills like plumbing, pipe fitting, HVAC, the stuff Jacksonville runs on. No endless lectures, no massive student debt, just hands-on training, real jobs, and real pay. This is how you level up, by doing work that actually matters. Check them out at UA234.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Local 234. Make the right connection.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
stroll on a Tuesday night. Sun's still shining. Let the sun go down. Don't be a John. Don't get caught. My goodness. I mean, how do you explain your way out of that? That would just, oh boy. So, I happen to think there's more important things to do a sting on, but they're not asking, for my opinion. Just don't get caught, all right? I mean, just I don't even know how you begin to explain your way out of that one. And, let me give you a little, I never give advice, and let me give you a free tip. And we can thank perhaps Mike Vrabel for this. I don't know that this is the case. We were talking about this on the golf course over the weekend, and it was actually a very interesting perspective. Is Vrabel gets caught literally with his pants down with Rossini. If he went through the long beck and call, and it was a one-time deal, and I'm so sorry, and I'm flying out to Utah, I'm a sex addict, I'm going to get all this stuff taken care of, and then a week later, the new photos come out from 5 years ago of them kissing in a bar, and you get caught lying again. Oh. So my advice would be, if you're caught in a lie, own it, and own it all. Because maybe your spouse is somewhat forgiving. But if you get caught lying a second time within a same story, I don't even know how you're going to get out. I mean, good luck. So that would be just a free tip that I'm going to give to you tonight. Boston closed it tonight in the NBA. They're up 3-1 against Philadelphia. Also, San Antonio with an opportunity to send home the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah, I think Philadelphia, they just kind of ran out of time here. I mean, I think that it would take just a little bit more time for Joel Embiid probably to get back into basketball shape. I mean, he really did give it a good go in their last game, but I mean, I think he probably needed maybe another week, 2 weeks or so just to really get in basketball conditioning. And it seems to me, I mean, Portland has really given it a good shot against this San Antonio team, but San Antonio, I got to give it to them. I mean, for this to be their first playoff series, and I think you were down 15, and you come back and you win that game. The level of poise that team has is absolutely remarkable. I think they're a team well beyond their years. So I think both of those series end. We saw, the series end against OKC and Phoenix as well. That was a sweep, but I do believe that both of the games on tap, I think those series are going to end.
All right, we go ahead to the top of the hour here. We'll get into it next hour with Jags reaction. But did I read earlier this year that Joel Embiid has played in like 475 games and missed 475 games? Is that correct?
Yeah, I think it was somewhere along that timetable. I mean, listen, they told us, to trust the process. They understood that this guy was injured. I think he sat out his entire first year due to injury. And, I mean, he's given some great level of production, when he's been out there. But unfortunately, he hasn't been able to be out there enough for the Philadelphia 76ers to really have any true level of success. So, for him to have played that many games and also have missed that many games, I think it speaks to just the overall investment that this team put into him when they drafted him not too long ago.
Your questions, your opinions coming up in hour number 2. Best way to reach us, YouTube, 1010XL into the night. Also, our text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures, 641-1010.
Getting you ready every day.
You ready, champ? I'm ready for this my whole life.
Get ready.
This is the most important game of your life. No excuses. Do the work.
With 1010XL.
The doctors at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists have resolved my hip and foot issues, and I'm back to training for the 2028 Olympics in LA. This is Garrett Scantling, and I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is David Garrard. Following my knee surgeries and recovery, I'm continuing to feel great and would recommend Southeast Orthopedic to anyone who's experiencing orthopedic pain.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
And that concludes the Joe C. Jack of All Trades show. Tune in next week where I'll be installing my own French drain.
Joe, wake up, man.
Hey, John, I must have dozed off.
We finished those projects you started.
Whoa, my seamless gutters are actually seamless.
And they're connected into underground PVC drain lines.
And my sprinklers. Wow, look at that coverage.
Next time, just call me first, Joe.
I will, but I ain't singing that song.
Clearwater Irrigation
and Drainage too.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Attention poker players, the tables are heating up at all Best Bet locations. Don't miss a minute of the action with $800 high hands every Friday and Saturday, $555 Cinco de Mayo high hands every 20 minutes, and the Memorial Day $30,000 cash giveaway. And don't forget to earn those entries to win a side-by-side all-terrain vehicle starting May 1st in Best Bet St. Augustine. Get to your location of choice, Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine, and take home your winnings. For all the details, visit bestbetjacks.com.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Flowers and cards are great for Mother's Day. But why not make this Mother's Day extra special with something timeless from Beard's Diamonds? The team at Beard's has put together an amazing collection of affordable and distinctive gifts up to 40% off. Beautiful bracelets with diamonds and colored gemstones, stunning pendants, and gorgeous earrings featuring both natural and lab-grown diamonds. Think about it. It's the gift she'll be able to enjoy for years, even decades. Always a reminder of that special Mother's Day in 2026. Rings, bands, pearls, fashion pieces, all the latest from the world's top designers. Beard's makes it easy to show the mother in your life how much she means to you and to the whole family. And with up to 40% savings, you'll be amazed at what you can do with your budget. Get the card and the flowers, but top it off with a spectacular piece of jewelry from Beard's. Beard's Diamonds, not another chain store owned by Wall Street. Your local jeweler. Family owned and operated for nearly 45 years. Beard's Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, I thought it was really interesting that Adam Schefter on his podcast really had a lot to say about James Gladstone willing to give up his first-round pick next year, even though that is a draft that is supposed to be spectacular, to get a late first-round pick this year in a draft that was considered very ordinary. Here's what Schefter had to say, and I quote, the Jaguars actually considered this year trading up back into the first round and draft a lot of people they didn't love to give away their first-round pick next year in the 2027 draft that everybody can't wait for. And because that draft is so coveted and highly anticipated, they wanted the team that was getting their one next year to give up their one this year and an additional day 2 or day 3 pick. They wanted extra compensation to trade into the draft for next year. So there's the chart, there's the table. That's not a perfect science, but that's what you go by. That's what all 32 teams go by when you move a player. Or a player would change that. When you go draft pick for draft pick, that's the way it typically is. But James Gladstone here, according to Adam Schefter, was, okay, everyone loves next year's draft. We'll move our pick next year. But again, we want your pick this year, and we want an additional either Friday pick or a Saturday pick. To me, that says a lot of different things. Number one, what it says, Jacksonville would have selected 24th in this year's draft class. If you're willing to give up your number one next year, 24 would be the minimum number, okay? You have got to be forecasting that you're going to be drafting 24 as, your first slot at 24. But realistically speaking, they think they're going to draft in the, mid to late 20s. I don't want to get into a 30, 31, 32. That may be a tiny bit of a stretch, or it may not. I mean, it may not. This thing is as wide open as it ever could be. They should have beaten Buffalo. And I know that you can say that. Every NFL host and every NFL city can say the same thing at some point. Should have, you should have, you should have. And you know what just drove me insane back in what I thought could have been the greatest moment in Jaguars history is what you will always remember as Miles Jack wasn't down. There were a lot of bad calls in that game. The one on A.J. Boye was a bad call. They still allowed that 3rd and 18. They let the best player in the history of the game beat him to Danny Amendola, as great as that Jaguars defense is, or was. But what I'll never understand is why Doug Marrone and Nate Hackett played the way that they did in the fourth quarter. It was cowardly football. It was coward of the county, Kenny Rogers football. They did not try to win that game. They tried to sit on a lead. You want to really, you want to skip a meal? Okay, maybe you need to lose a couple. You want to skip a meal? Just go back and Google and pull up fourth quarter and look at their play sheet. In Foxborough, with a lead, with an opportunity to chop the head off the snake, the venomous snake. And they were so damn predictable. They did the same thing every run it, pass it, incomplete. I mean, they took no time. It was just bogus. That drove me nuts. I'll never get over that. And again, 99% of you have already forgotten about that. You just remember Miles Jack wasn't down. I didn't feel nearly as bad about that this year, but the one thing that I still look at and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me here, is why they didn't run Bashal Tootin. That just, I don't have an explanation for it. That was a miss. But he's a rookie coach, and I think you can learn from that, okay? If they won that game, if they ran Tootin, they won that game. There's no telling how far. I mean, the AFC was inferior to the NFC. We knew that. It was a pretty remote, it was a pretty remote feeling that whoever won the AFC Championship game was going to win the Super Bowl. I think most of you out there would agree. And I'm not saying Jacksonville was going to go ahead and win the Super Bowl this year, but they absolutely had a chance at the AFC Championship game. They had a chance at that if they could have held on against Buffalo. So what I really appreciate about what this organization is doing is looking at that, and they missed. ETN is gone. He will be missed. I've said it, and I've said it, and I've said it, and I'm wrong. I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. I think this is going to be a better rushing attack. I think they're going to be more consistent when it comes to running the football. They don't have right now great wiggle. I don't know if they have ability to make others miss. The body control, the way that Travis Etienne, or I guess I should say, you know what? I'm going to call him Travis Etienne. Actually, I'll respect him. I'll call him Travis Etienne. That's what he wants now. He had great body control. He had the ability to make people miss. He did a lot of things one-on-one against tacklers that I don't believe they have that back in their stable. But I think they have straight line, tough yardage, third and short, fourth and short. You don't have to gimmick it up. I mean, their fourth and short against Buffalo was just terrible. And again, I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with taking the ball out of Tutin's hands. Again, that's what Cohen's going to do. But look at what Cohen does. When he goes for it on fourth down, he'll run Diami Brown and runs all sort of counters. I think he's still going to go for it as much this year on fourth down. But I think you're going to see that whether it's Rodriguez or it's Tutin, they're going to line up. They're going to go into a jumbo where you have a third tight end, or maybe it is a swing tackle. And they're going to run the football right at teams. And I think that is something that they absolutely looked at, and they said, everyone who played on the offensive line last year is back. The only one off the offense that we lost is Achane. You go on out and you add an enormous tight end. You go out and you add a future starting guard. You go out and you add a running back who was among league leaders in yards after being hit. He's not a one hit and you're down type of guy. He drags ball carriers. He bounces off ball carriers. Also, I'll have to look it up again, that whole expected yards. He was a top ranked back in that category as well. So I think they're going to be more consistent when it comes to running the football. I also think they're going to be more consistent on third down. They're going to be more consistent in their screen game. They're going to be more consistent in the red zone. And they average 28 points a game. They can still improve. You have Trevor Lawrence, who has more consistency now with this coaching staff than he's had in his career. And yeah, you're probably going to lose Grant Udinski in a year, but that's in a year. Liam Cohen is calling the plays. I think it's fascinating to see what this football team has the possibility to do offensively. Very exciting if I was you. Hey, I say I would look up that thing with Devin Lloyd. I did go back and forth with O'Halloran yesterday. We were talking about how really no one has benefited more than Ventrell Miller. If I was to pick one guy, and I'll ask you, you can answer this question, 641-1010. Brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures, or you can also answer it on YouTube at 1010XL Into the Night. You can make a case about the running backs. But if I was to say, who was this draft best for, to me, without even considering anyone else, it's Ventrell Miller. It's absolutely Ventrell Miller. They didn't draft a weak side linebacker. They didn't draft a guy to play his position. He had Branson Combs. And, we'll see what happens here with the 7th round kid, Parker Hughes. But to me, that's more than Eric Armstead. To me, that's more than any one of the running backs. It's really more than any other position. I believe that. But with Devin Lloyd, yeah, people still freak out about losing him. Do you understand that Devin Lloyd last year played 47%? Only 47% on third and fourth down. Money downs. Your best players on the field to make big-time plays. He was on the sideline. He was as useless as you and I on most third downs and fourth downs. This new math in the NFL sometimes can be misleading, perhaps even aggravating. Again, one thing I do like, one of the many things I like about this new brass is I really do believe that what these kids have done on Saturday means something. Playing a lot of football. You heard Ryan O'Halloran talking about it with us a moment ago, the 410 games. I mean, an amazing amount of experience playing the game of football, and that's so important. There's no doubt about it. And you're in all these different types of situations. Devin Lloyd was a really good football player, okay, during his final season. But when they went to big-time situations, whether it was a 3-safety set, whether it was 3 corners and a nickel, no matter what they did, he was oftentimes the linebacker that was out of there. He was out 47% of the time. It's an incredible number. I'll tell you about incredible as well as we head to this. It's coming up on March 28th. Why don't we make that May 28th over at Miller Electric Company? Okay. They are putting together a huge recruiting event. It's going to be from 4 to 7 on Thursday, May 28th. They're looking for electricians, all levels of experience. You can join one of the best companies and join the team at Miller Electric if, in fact, you are interested. Now, let me say this to you. Undervalued electricians already who are out there working and working hard. If you feel as though you're underpaid, you're undervalued, you're underappreciated, let's go to millercareers.com/1010XL. If you're a high school student getting ready to graduate, if you're in college and it's just not for you, you can't afford it. You want a career. You want a trade. What about being an electrician? I mean, look at it outside. Everywhere you drive in Jacksonville, there's construction, there's building. Miller Electric's call number one. Their reputation is absolutely spectacular. They've been doing this for nearly 100 years. Top pay, top benefits. Again, great culture. I know so many people over there. Fantastic representation of Duval. And they're looking to hire you. Go to millercareers.com/1010XL. millercareers.com/1010XL. We're going to do a live show out there. That'll be coming up on May 28th. The event is from 4 to 7. Okay? On Thursday, May 28th, 4 to 7. Again, go to millercareers.com/1010XL.
This is 1010XL.
Always us on 3. 1, 2, 3. Always us.
Home of the Jaguars.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
Meta World Peace, what's up, man?
Nah, that's not my name anymore, thanks to Hard Rock Bet.
We're doing this again, are we?
Now I go by Meta over rebounds, under assists, Meta the first basket, free throw, piece.
Huh, so you really can same game parlay practically anything now on Hard Rock Bet.
It's the only place I play these days.
Download the Hard Rock Bet app and start playing today. Hard Rock Bet, roll with us.
Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida, must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Firehouse Subs is adding a new heavy hitter to the roster, the Chicken and Cheddar Rancher. Grilled chicken, melted cheddar, crispy bacon stacked high with fresh toppings, creamy buttermilk ranch. The Chicken and Cheddar Rancher, only at Firehouse Subs.
This is Jeff Middlecoff with Cogent Bank. My associate Ryan Salem and I joined Cogent Bank because we wanted to revolutionize the mortgage business, just like Cogent Bank has revolutionized the banking business. So Ryan Salem and I are able to leverage the power and stability of Cogent Bank to go out and find our clients the best investors, the best products, and the best rates in the entire country for your particular mortgage loan. Of course, you don't have to be a customer at Cogent Bank to take advantage of our mortgage services to buy or refinance your home. We offer jumbo loans, VA, FHA, conventional and investment loans. At Cogent Bank, we offer mortgages nationwide, so we can help you with a second home or help a family member who lives or is moving to another state. Call Ryan Salem or myself, Jeff Middlecoff, at Cogent Bank today, 904-442-9191, to see how we can help you with any of your mortgage loan needs, whatever or wherever they may be.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Cogent Bank, NMLS ID 402296, Fine Salem, NMLS ID 1182429, Jeff Middlecoff, NMLS ID 249086.
Roll through the off-season with AA Automotive on Richard Street. Who are new shining faces in teal? Listen for draft profiles to get to know the newest members of your home team. Elevated by Premier Outdoor Inc., a visionary of hardscapes and aquatics.
Ackerman Urology has 4 locations for advanced urological care to improve men's health and vitality. Don't suffer the season with prostate, bladder, or kidney issues. Schedule a checkup with AckermanUrology.com.
Baloo here for Spunez Vision. Why Spunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Spunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Spunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Spunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SpunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances. That's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less.
Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
I'm Frank Frangie, and I can tell you as Walk-Off Charities has grown, we now manage a large athletic facility with numerous fields, including the Bregan Baseball Complex. To get around, we needed a good, reliable golf cart. I went straight to Dynamic Drives and Design in Jack's Peak. I met with Travis, told him exactly what our needs were. Would you believe before you knew it, the perfect cart was delivered to us at an incredible price? If you need a golf cart, Travis and his team are the go-to. Learn more about them at dynamicdrivesdesign.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
No such thing as venomous snakes in Buffalo. That is a snake-bit city. That can all change tonight. The Sabres can send to the Boston Bruins an opportunity to join me for a tea time in the Dominican Republic. Up 3-1 is Buffalo. Keybank Center will drop the puck in about 15 minutes. Also, the Anaheim Ducks tonight. You got to go into Edmonton. That's always a difficult place to win a hockey game. But Edmonton is beaten up. The best player in the world may not be able to go tonight in Connor McDavid. He's got a lower body injury. Remember, in the NHL, you don't have to announce your injury, which is just amazing to me, because the only reason why you announce injuries is to give an advantage to gamblers. I love when the NFL lied decades and decades and decades ago. It's, oh, we don't want information in the leak. We don't want certain people to have it. You know, it's for the gamblers. Let's come out and say it. Okay. Also, Draisaitl is back. He's the leading scorer for Edmonton. He missed the last month of the season. I mean, he did. Makar missed some time as well in Colorado. They're both back here for the playoff run. The Wild and Stars tied at 2. That's in the Metroplex coming up tonight. As well. So some really good stuff going on in the NHL. 76ers up 10-2 over the Celts. All right, Celts get a couple of buckets here. Now it's 10-6. 6:01 to go in the first quarter. Again, Boston with an opportunity to send Philadelphia home in advance to the second round. Coming up at 8 o'clock tonight, Hawks and Knicks all tied at 2. And Portland, much like Boston, can do that to Portland tonight in San Antonio. They're a big-time 11.5-point favorite coming up against the Portland Trailblazers.
Who do you like in the Stanley Cup chase, Rick? I mean, is there a team that stands out since the playoffs have started that kind of stands out amongst the rest that just like, I'd be surprised if this team doesn't win it, or at least is in the Stanley Cup final?
Colorado's scary. They pounded LA 4 straight. I mean, they're scary. They really are. John Cooper is such a great coach. If you watch the overtime game the other night against Montreal, actually, I said it was an overtime game. Tampa got their goal very late in the third period. My apology. But this game, you just look at how disciplined Tampa Bay is, even when they're shorthanded. Okay? They pulled the goalie. Prior to that, there was a couple of penalty, power play opportunities. And Tampa Bay does not allow great shots on goal. And they have one of the best goaltenders in the world in Vasilevsky. But they don't get out of the shooting lanes. And if you see what Montreal did, when they gave up the goal, they had 2 defensemen behind the net. Another opportunity, Tampa got a dirty goal, too. It was a deflection that came right off the chest. It was a blast from the point, and it went off the chest of Brandon Hagel and went in the net. That's a dirty goal. Fire the puck at the net. It could hit a skate. It could hit a stick. It could hit you in the chest. You've got to put guys out in front of the goaltender. You've got to try to distract him. You got to try to do something as far as his vision legally and blind him somewhat. Tampa does that. Montreal did not. And Marty St. Louis, they showed him. They just made mistake after mistake. They had a very, very foolish offside call that you cannot have in game, number 82 plus 4. I mean, I guess it would have been their 86th game of the year. They had another one where they lost the puck out of the zone, where they had they had an extra man on the ice. Just really fool. I mean, I know it's a lot easier to criticize mistakes in football. And if you're not a big hockey fan, you may not know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to move on to the next subject here. John Cooper's arguably the best coach in sports, period. And I tell you what, even though they struggled this year, Paul Maurice down the road in Miami is in there as well. And he is a master at pushing buttons. He is a master at motivating his players. So, if I was to pick right now, why don't I go with Tampa against Colorado?
The winner?
Colorado's been insane all year.
Yeah.
I mean, they were 55-16. They won, 7 more games than Tampa. But this thing could change in a heartbeat. I mean, look at Connor McDavid tonight. You got to stay healthy. It's a 2-month stretch. These guys are so physical. They get beat up. How healthy are they percentage-wise? And how hot is a goaltender going to be? Blue-collar workers. Getting on me here now for giving them a shout out. Absolutely. We always talk about, if you hit the lottery, what would you do this, do that. Yeah, I do a bunch of different charities, whatever, but I'd absolutely represent the hardworking class of America. And I'm not talking about waitresses, waiters, or bartenders. Because your level of professionalism and work ethic has gone down the latrine, okay? But for those who are out there, blue-collar-wise, truckers, roofers, plumbers, electricians, love them. Landscapers. Just pull up to a landscaping business and, just peel out a band and hand them to, and that'd be a lot of fun. It would. But that would be, of course, if I hit the lottery. 8446 Blue, there are no venomous sea snakes in the Atlantic Ocean at all. Really? Okay. I tell you what's just wrong. We got to take a break here, but I'll tell you what's wrong. Alligators and crocodiles in the salt water. That's wrong. Okay?
Okay.
You get out of the Keys, you beware of saltwater crocs. And I'm getting ready to go to Costa Rica, and I guess now I'm going to Dominican Republic. Whenever I go to these places, though, I mean, they have saltwater crocodiles, which is just, that should not be allowed.
Scary.
Right. You got to deal with the sharks.
Right.
Freshwater, you should deal with crocodiles. Freshwater,
Right.
you should deal with alligators.
Right.
You should not have to deal with saltwater. I mean, I've seen pictures of gators around here that have been down at the beach. I can't remember the last time.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I bet if you Google it, and I bet some of our listeners are aware of this, whether it's out at Michaelers or Jack's Beach or whatever, that gators have made their way to the beach here in North Florida.
Oh, they're trying to take their land back. They said, we will eat all you guys if it means we can get some peace and quiet.
That's just not fair. Should not be. 2775. If Gladstone and company are correct about who they draft, they have 10 serious never quit studs. You can tell the rest of the naysayers to expletive. There you go. Hey, 7:30. Oh my gosh, where's the time gone? We need to bow out.
There's more than one way to live forever. Gents, I give you the fountain of youth.
1010 XL.
Hi, I'm Kelly, owner of DexaFit Jacksonville. Do you really know your numbers? Body fat, muscle, and bone density? At DexaFit Jacksonville, we use the DEXA-scan, the gold standard for precise body composition data. We also measure VO2 max and resting metabolic rate, giving you a complete picture of how your body performs and burns fuel. No guessing, just clinical, science-backed data you can track over time just like an athlete. Book today at jacksonville.dexafit.com.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. At Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville, we know not every injury happens on game day. Sometimes it's rolling your ankle, weekend yard work, or just playing catch with your kids. That's why we built a team of fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeons, experts in everything from knees and shoulders to spine and sports injuries in hand. Whether you're chasing championships or chasing your dog, we've got you. Learn more at osjax.com. That's osjax.com.
Rick Ballou here with a congratulations for John's Auto. They've been in business in Jacksonville for 40 years. That's right, going all the way back to 1985. Right now, they'd like to thank each and every one of you who's ever gotten their vehicle serviced at John's Auto. So, car, truck, or diesel, all makes, all models, whether it's a routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul, go to John's Auto on Arlington Road, johnautomotivejacks.com.
1010XL Draft Profiles are built by Premier Outdoor Inc., a visionary of hardscapes and aquatics.
Jacksonville made 10 selections in this year's draft. Their first choice came in round 2 at number 56, tight end Nate Forkature of Texas A&M. At age 24, he's the oldest player picked to wear teal. Their second selection was also an Aggie, defensive tackle Albert Regis, taken in round 3. In all, Duval got 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, and 2 defensive ends.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, the Checkmate chess man.
At most companies, people start on the ground floor and work their way up to the corner office. At Checkmate, I started on the ground floor, and almost 20 years in, that's still where I am, making ground floors look awesome, one garage at a time.
Well, I started as a pawn and worked my way up to king.
No, you didn't. Some guy drew you as a king. I asked them to give you a roller, so at least you'd look like one of the guys.
Yes, I rather would have preferred a sword.
At Checkmate, I work personally with our teams to perfect the preparation and application techniques that make Checkmate floors beautiful and durable.
And I keep things classy with my adorable accent.
Beautiful floors?
Check. Guaranteed to last?
Check. The finishing touch your home deserves? Checkmate.
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com.
Save up to $400 on Browning gun safes right now at Green Acres Sporting Goods. During the Browning tax refund rebate, get up to $400 back on select safes, built to protect your firearms, valuables, and peace of mind. Green Acres is Northeast Florida's largest Browning dealer, with the selection ready for you today. But don't wait. This offer ends April 30th. Shop now at greenacresporting.com and take advantage before it's gone.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Well, the golden moment is for the first time ever, I actually graded the Jaguars draft class. As it's going up on social media, it may already be up. I know that they are putting together all of the hosts in their grades. I typically never do this, but I have. So quickly, here it goes. I gave Borkircher a C. I gave Regis a C. I gave Pregnon an A. I gave Husky a D. I gave Williams a C. I gave Koziol an A. I gave Cameron a B. I gave Williams and Durfee C's, and I gave their final pick, Parker Hughes, a C. There you go.
Is there anybody on this team that has been drafted that maybe, Rick, you're pulling for, like, to make this team? I mean, outside of the 4 that we know that was selected, in day 2, I'm going to assume that those guys are going to see the field, but we also have to think about just some of these other guys from Durfee to also the wide receiver out of Baylor, CJ Williams out of Stanford. Is there just a guy that you're pulling for that you're saying, hey, maybe we can get something out of this guy?
Yeah, I mean, not really. I'll give you the 3 that really intrigued me last to first. Durfee, you sent me something on him. I've read a lot about him. There's a chance there. We'll see. He's a late 7th round pick. Same with Parker Hughes. And if he does make that move, to outside linebacker, that's going to be really intriguing. I think the guy for me would be Koziol, because there's such a feeling that at 6'6.5" or 6'7", 240, and a guy who has caught just a ton of footballs in his career, think of what type of a weapon he could be. All right. I mean, everything on Burkircher is he's going to be a blocking first tight end. If this kid could be a weapon in the 5th round and be a bona fide red zone threat, and also be, what do you expect out of him as a rookie? I mean, if he gives you 15, 20 receptions, I think that would be considered a good year as a 5th round pick as a rookie. Now, obviously, you would expect that to grow year after year after year, but I would probably say him. I think that has maybe the best chance out of them all to really evolve into something.
Does that, with the drafting of Tanner, does that take, I guess, the spot of what we probably presumed they would take in terms of wide receiver, like the 6'4", 6'5" guy that you're saying go up and get it? Tanner's going to be that guy at tight end where you're saying here's the 6'6", 6'7" guy in the red zone that we're saying go up and get it.
Yeah, Tim Jones is still around. It'll be interesting to see if he makes it. They brought him back primarily as a special teams guy. Tim Patrick is out there. I wouldn't be opposed to them if he'll accept the league minimum, maybe a taste more to come back. But it looks like with Josh Cameron and CJ Williams, who are not that, they don't have one. So he could end up being that guy. I still would love to see a big wide receiver who is effective with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence had that at Clemson. He has not had that in Jacksonville. They're hard to find. They really are. And, you can go to Patrick. He made a couple of big catches for them late in the season. But I think that's fair with what you got here. If it was that important to them, they would have addressed that. They went wide receiver, back to back, the way that Jacksonville did. They would have gone for, the bigger body wide receiver, the taller wide receiver, Again, if it was that important to him, this let me look this up. I want to say he's 6'1". Yeah, Cameron's 6'1". He's thick, 224. So, but not a tall wide receiver. And then C.J. Williams is 6'1", 205. So if you look at the Jaguars roster, they don't have big, they don't have tall wide receivers. They just don't. Let me find it for you here real quick. Let's see. Do they have it? All right. Parker Washington, we know, is 5'10". Tim Patrick is 6'5", but he's not a receiver. He's a special teams guy. Jacoby Myers is 6'2". Boy, man, if I had been asked, I would have said, man, 6 foot, maybe 6'1". He's really 6'2". Okay. Interesting there. That's a little bit taller than I actually thought, that he was. Was Brian Thomas Jr. here. Brian Thomas Jr. 6'2". So there you go. There are your wide receivers. Travis Hunter's what, 6'1"? I think that's fair. He's not on here because, of course, he was on the IR at the time. But let me look it up. Travis Hunter, I want to say, is 6'1". It's going to be fun to watch him out at camp as well. Again, he's going to be limited during OTAs, but he's expected to be full go once training camp does, officially get underway. Yeah, he's 6'1", 185. He's not 185. If he's 185, then I'm 185. Okay? I mean, he is not 185. But I love the kid. And again, I asked him about his weight. That was one of my very first questions to Travis Hunter over the Miller Electric Center, his first practice. I looked at his legs and I was just blown away. I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, look at those things. Put together, muscular, sure, but I mean, maybe the smallest legs I've ever seen. And these were like Snoop Minnis legs going back 25 years. Everyone loves Snoop. I don't. He flunked out, cost Florida State a national title against Oklahoma. Devontae Smith legs. And I asked him straight up, well, what do you want your weight to be this year? And he looked right at me and he said, my weight will be whatever the coach wants my weight to be. I was like, damn. I was like, this kid gets it now, doesn't he? What an answer. An opportunity to be, prime time, an opportunity to be the boss, an opportunity to be Johnny Manziel. No. He's like, I'll do whatever the coach wants me to do. He's a great teammate. I think people want him to be a diva. He's not. But all you got to do is watch him practice. I mean, the guy doesn't take a knee, take off his helmet, and grab a Gatorade bottle. No, he's living it up with his teammates on the sideline. Seriously, Zach Durfee deserves at least the B. Okay, hold me to that. I hope you're right. I've seen Gators in Fernandina Beach a couple of times. Here's another one. That was from the 83-38. 88-25. See a Gator at Fernandina Beach several times. Again, a Gator walked out of the surf in Fernandina Beach lately. I just paddled out of the Crossroads, not Michler's, and out of the lineup was an alligator. It was freaky, he goes on to say. So, that's just not right. Sorry. I mean, I'm all about nature, and I'm all about the circle of life, and I'm all about eat or be eaten. But gators, no, they shouldn't be in the salt water. That's the way I look at it. All right, let me get to a couple of these here. I just got so many that rolled in. 50-22, I disagree. You need a ball carrier that is a threat to take it to the house anytime he touches the ball. Yeah, it's okay to have 2-pounders. 2 yards here, 3 yards, 4-yard dash. You need someone with wiggle. You need somebody who's a threat to take it to the house. It's a fair opinion. It absolutely is. Was ETN that guy? ETN seemed to have breakaway speed at times. I forget what his 40 speed is. Some guys are faster than they look. I think I would term ETN that way. You may disagree with that, but that's, one of the ways that I would certainly look at Achon, excuse me. Not ETN. We're better than that. It's Achon. Blue, 30 years ago, not 30 years ago, today, Dark Side of the Moon hit number 1 today in 1973. Saw them at the Coliseum that summer. Wow. Oh, brother. I mean, I just can't imagine how cool that was. I was lucky to see him without Roger Waters. And when did they come out with that? Was it in summer 87 or 88 or 89, something like that, in Foxborough with the Patriots play? I saw him one summer. Fun show. And it was really, really good. But, when you see Pink Floyd, you'd love to have him with Roger Waters. And they're never going to get back. I mean, Nick Mason has been left out. And Richard Wright, of course, did unfortunately pass years ago. As explained in the show yesterday, Garden a third round this year and last year to be starters. Next year sounds pretty good. It looks like they're going to go big, considering that in the tight end pick from the 84-46. Yeah. I mean, it's not overly appealing, but it wins football games, man. You run to win games. You have to run. And I'm not all of a sudden going to say that passing the football is a luxury. Look how the last couple of Super Bowls were won. I mean, there are people out there who believe that Sam Darnold and Jalen Hurts are not franchise quarterbacks. That they won by what? Great defenses, rushing 4 on defense, a solid to above average offensive line, and running the football. All right, Saquon Barkley's special. Kenneth Walker had the best game of his career in the Super Bowl. It was the only time all season he went north of 20 carries, and he got paid for it. He set himself up for the remainder of his life because of it. I'm not saying that Jacksonville's any one of these guys is a Saquon Barkley. Okay? But a Kenneth Walker? Hell yeah, I am. Absolutely I am. I believe that. All right. Great stuff, great stuff, great stuff, great stuff. By you. By you. Always love getting as many comments as I do during each and every Into the Night broadcast. Sadly for me, perhaps, I don't know about you, but tomorrow's my final show for a week. My goodness, man. They tell me the Dominican Republic. Here's a guy who's asked me if weed is legal in the Dominican Republic. Can you buy it out of places? I don't know, but I'll check for you, okay? That is a promise I will make to you. Got tomorrow's show, then off for a week right here on your home of the Jags.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler, and this Mother's Day, we'd like to help you celebrate Mom with up to 40% off our entire inventory. GIA-certified natural diamonds and lab-grown diamonds, beautiful colored gemstones, designer brands, custom jewelry design, and Monahan Jewelers offers interest-free financing on any purchase, so get something special with a payment you can afford. Come celebrate Mom with fine jewelry at up to 40% off at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Feel the power. Hear the legend. One Night of Queen, performed by Gary Mullen and the Works. The look, the sound, the electrifying showmanship of one of rock's greatest bands. One Night of Queen, April 29th at Florida Theater. Get your tickets now at floridatheater.com.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Whether you're undertaking a major home renovation or just a simple repair request, American Electrical is your 5-star Jacksonville-based electrician to get the work done right. Experienced design building department working seamlessly with their electrical contracting department to help you create beautiful lighting spaces and electrical plans that make your house flow. And remember, with American Electrical, it's wired right at a fair price. Call American Electric at 737-7770. Look for that red, white, and blue eagle on the side of their truck, and you'll know it's American Electrical.
What Major League Baseball teams have never won a World Series?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
There are 5 Major League Baseball teams that have never won a World Series: Colorado, Milwaukee, San Diego, Seattle, and Tampa Bay.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Looking for an exciting, fun-filled evening your whole group can enjoy? Discover the thrill of indoor football. Fast-paced, action-packed, and full of family fun. Be there as your Sharks take on the New Mexico Chupacabras Saturday, May 2nd at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Kickoff, 7 o'clock. Don't miss the action-packed halftime performance by Showtime USA. Ask about our family 4-packs. 4 tickets and $50 in food vouchers, all for only $100. To purchase tickets, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. It's Education Appreciation Night, presented by the University of North Florida. All teachers, administrators, and school staff get our special buy one, get one free ticket deal. Join us on the field after the game for our free autograph session, sponsored by Flight Adventure Park. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours today at 621-0700. That's 621-0700. Sharks football, where memories are made.
Go Sharks!
I'm with Greg from Cycles in Jacksonville, and Triumph is a known name when it comes to beautiful rides on the road. What is the latest from Triumph?
Well, if you didn't come, we had an unleashing at the dealership last week. We saw 6 new models from Triumph, anything from 400 cc's to 1200 cc's. If you're looking at a bike, you got to look at the new Triumphs.
Experienced riders will love it.
And the inexperienced will love it. We've got something for everybody in the Triumph lineup. Great, great motorcycles.
Showroom waiting for you. Triumph. Find them at Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic, near Regency.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
So, let me ask you, will the Boston Bruins be joining me in the Dominican Republic come Thursday? Cancun, Costa Rica? Where do you think they're headed?
You know, I'm not the NHL guy that you are, but I'd have to think the Buffalo Sabres are really good now because of their affiliation with the Jacksonville Icemen here in town. That's the only logical explanation. When did the Sabres get good?
Yeah, well, they had the longest drought in team athletics. They had not made the playoffs. The second longest drought, it's still the Jets, who have gone 15 years. It's Buffalo had gone 14 years.
I mean, I don't remember anything from the Sabres since the days of Dominic Hasek back in the day.
And they should have won the Stanley Cup. I mean, they lost to Dallas. But, I mean, they were very relevant in the 70s, the infamous French Connection line. With Hall of Famers on it, including Gilbert Perreault and René Robert and Rick Martin. I don't think Rick Martin is in the Hall of Fame. I'll have to check on Robert. But anyway, they were really good for, a period of time, but that is a snake-bitten city between the Bills and the Sabres.
Yeah, and you guys in Boston obviously have I always love going to Logan International Airport, where they literally have every banner of all the championship teams. There's like 20 of them just spread out.
Yeah.
So maybe it's good. Boston's going to struggle a little bit. Bruins in trouble. Celtics look like they might make a run at a world title. I saw Alex Cora got fired by the Red Sox. Got to be the first time in history that a manager gets fired after winning a game by 16 runs.
Yeah, they've actually won 3 straight now, but they fired Alex Cora, and again today in Philadelphia, another major city up East Coast, they said goodbye to their skipper. Pats went to the Super Bowl, but left a bad feeling in a lot of people's taste with the easy schedule. Celts have the best chance. Bruins aren't going anywhere. The Red Sox certainly aren't going anywhere.
Yeah, Celtics are probably going to eliminate the 76ers tonight, and then they're going to probably wait the winner of Atlanta and New York. Big Game 5 in the Hawks-Knicks series coming up at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, Portland up against it as well, coming up tonight. As we do know, against San Antonio. And again, Boston can go home if Buffalo wins. Big game tonight is Anaheim. They're up 3-1 over Edmonton. And again, Connor McDavid with a lower body injury. Do not know if he's going to be able to play in this elimination game number 5 for the Oilers. All right, what do you have coming up?
We are going to talk NBA playoffs tonight. How about the Orlando Magic? 1 win away from an 8 seed knocking out a 1. They lead Detroit 3-1, Game 5 tomorrow. We'll spend some time on that. Have you seen what John Summerall is doing on the recruiting trail for the University of Florida? They're actually ranked higher than Georgia on some of the recruiting websites right now. Now, it's early, but you got to take that any chance you can get it if you're a Gator fan. When's the last time you were ranked higher than Georgia in anything when it comes to football recruiting? And then, obviously, the Jaguar draft, Emory Hunt, football game plan, CBS Sports HQ will join us. And he will give what I think is probably a more positive spin from a national person than what we've heard in the last couple of days when it comes to the Jaguar draft class.
Yeah, Florida had a good draft as well. I know you're talking about recruiting, but 7 players selected in this year's draft right there with Miami had 9, Florida 7. Florida State, 1.
Yeah, 1. And by the way, Florida had 7 players drafted, and Billy Napier still managed to get them to go to 4-8 on the year.
Incredible. All right, have a fun show.
Thanks, Rick.
That's it for us. We're back tomorrow night. Thank you. RJ, enjoy the hoops tonight, brother.
Absolutely, man. Enjoy the hockey.
Yeah, I will. Hockey, baseball. I'll check in on the hoops, but the hockey players are just second to none. That's my opinion, and I am sticking to it. All right, thank you as well to Ryan O'Halloran. Thank you to you. A lot of good stuff rolled in tonight. A lot of really good comments. It is always appreciated by yours truly. That'll do it. I'll join you tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Remember, we're on 1010 a lot. We're always on 92.5 FM. Don't forget to download the app. 92.5 FM, the app, no matter where you go, including Edmonton. You can take it with you. See you tomorrow.